I watched Shoppers. I actually watched it today. I watched it in between my class. I got out of my 1 to 2:15 class. I was like, all right, I'm going to drive to the AMC. I showed up probably like 3 minutes. Like, I think once I walked in, the movie had like just started. Like, it was like, I was like, okay, what's going on? I basically came in right when she starts like doing the petition stuff.
Oh.
Did I miss something? Please don't tell me I missed something.
You missed a pretty good scene.
No, dang it. I was in such a big rush and I didn't want to watch it in 3D, so I didn't go for a later time. What did I miss? Can you just tell me really fast?
So at the beginning, because
this is the beginning. It's not a spoiler. It's not a big
Yeah, at the beginning, there's a scene where they really do a good job of explaining Mabel's character with her as a kid in elementary school, grabbing all the animals and then trying to set them free.
Oh, that's cute.
Because they're, those little animals that kids have in their classrooms, class pet. She was trying to grab them and set them all free.
Okay.
After that, she doesn't succeed, but it shows like she loves animals and nature. And then after that, her mom, she's yelling at her, like going like, you can't do that, drops her off at the grandmother's. She's mad. Her grandmother's trying to make her feel better. And they go out into that nature.
Okay, so it's like the beginning of, okay, cool. Exactly. Which I got still from the rest of the movie. That's fine. Cool, I just missed that scene. Needed to make sure I got that. Cool. Now you know my perspective going into this movie and my review, okay? Boom. So I showed up, she's trying to get the petition signed. Phil, this movie was, I think, interesting for me because I think going in, I was like excited, but I didn't have high expectations. I just really thought the movie looked really funny. Yeah. So I was like, okay, at worst, I'm gonna have a laugh a lot. I'm gonna have a good time at worst, And I'm pleasantly surprised that not only do I think is this one of the funniest Pixar movies, I do actually think this movie has a really great and important message that we'll get into in a little bit, and that was just really surprising to me. Because I think especially going in, I wasn't expecting that. And watching a good bit of the movie in the beginning, at least, I wasn't expecting what the message ended up being.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fantastic. Such a funny movie, such an awesome time. I love all the characters. I love Mabel. I love the mayor. I love the insects. And oh my gosh, don't get me started on the beaver himself.
King George.
Dude, King George is the best. I freaking loved him so much. And I thought this movie was absolutely excellent. I'm going 8 out of 10. I'm going in 8 out of 10. But I think if someone told me this was in their top 5 Pixar, I wouldn't disagree with them. Or I would disagree, but I wouldn't be like, that's wrong or that's dumb, Like, I think that's very valid. I think the only problem in quotes, is that I think for a lot of Pixar movies, the ones that I would consider my favorites, like the 9s and the 10s out of 10s, usually are things that I relate to more. Yeah. And this, I thought it was a very great message, and I think a lot of people need to hear this. I just didn't relate to a lot of the characters in this movie. So I was just kind of like, I'm going in with emotions, and I didn't get super emotional, but I did feel things, I was just like really into what this movie was trying to say, and I thought it said it well. But it wasn't like a controversial pick for me, Onward. I love Onward so much because as someone who has an older brother who loves his older brother so much, that movie stuck out to me because that bond between the two of them was just like, it hits home, And a movie like Coco, as someone who I think it hits for basically anyone because most people like have families, But that movie, as someone who comes from a big family and who like precedes you, your heritage matters so much. A movie like that was just like it hits really hard. This movie doesn't really have any of that for me, but I think it's still incredible and I loved it so much.
Just saying, Coco's a 10 out of 10.
Coco's a 10 out of 10.
It's 10 out of 10.
Or WALL-E, dude. Oh my gosh, WALL-E. I love WALL-E.
Yeah.
WALL-E's the best movie ever.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, Phil, let's talk about Hoppers. What'd you think?
I'm just getting out the way. I gave this movie a 9 out of 10.
Woo!
I really like this movie. Like, I was it's not even just that. I feel like this healed me because when I watched Elio, I mean, y'all, if you haven't...
Oh, Phil hates Elio and the
Bosco
movies.
Movie. I don't hate it. It's just that I thought it was going to be a little better.
Yeah.
Like, on this situation it was touching on. But this healed me because one of my favorite things about Pixar movies is you have a main character. Yes, they're good. But you also have incredible, really good and addicting side characters. And this movie brought me back to really cool, addicting, and funny side characters. And oh my gosh, like, King George, really good. That scene he gets introduced to where he's like teaching everybody like dance and everything, so good. John Hamm as the mayor, incredibly funny. And I love the scene where he's arguing with Mabel and it flashes back and forth. You're at my home. What are you doing? My mother lives here. And they're just going back and forth. But I also really liked the Insect King that I did not know was Dave Franco.
Oh, I noticed it immediately. And can I be honest? It like kind of bugged me.
Oh, for real?
Like I noticed it and I'm like, dude, like, it just sounds like him. It just sounds like him. I need him to stop, please.
I love that, man. Yeah. For real. But also the gecko or the lizard, along with the bear and the other beaver that was all, like, looking sleepy and chill. Like, I love those characters, bro. Like, this one has so many of, like, really good I think this is one of my favorite Pixar movies with side characters.
Wow.
I think it might be, because I just loved all of them. When you get introduced to the council, I thought all of them were funny. Flap around and find out. I died. Everybody in my theater died when he said that. But... I didn't know Meryl Streep was the butterfly.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I did not know Meryl Streep was the butterfly.
That's actually insane.
I remember the certain scene came up where, and I mean, we're talking spoilers, so the scene where...
Oh, I didn't know we are we?
I mean, I feel like we've been spoiling stuff.
We just talked about the beginning. That's not a spoiler. That's the first
never
10
mind.
minutes of the movie. We'll talk about spoilers in a second.
I
Let's.
kind of really, you know what?
pump the
I just
brakes.
really
We'll
love
go.
this movie.
Yeah.
I really did, and I have to rewatch the Pixar movies to see if this would be my top 5. I feel like it is if I gave it a 9 out of 10, but there's a lot of Pixar movies I give high ratings for.
Off the dome, try. What's your top?
I mean, Coco number 1.
Uh-huh.
Toy Story 1 and 2 up there. 3 maybe. Okay, no, I don't think it could make my top 5. I don't think it can.
I know my top 3 off the dome. Like, I just kind of like it's secured.
I think it might just be Coco, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and then Toy Story 3.
Wow.
And then
This guy loves Toy
I
Story.
love Toy Story, bro. Toy Story's good. But that 5th movie, I don't know what that. Maybe
Hoppers.
A Bug's Life.
I love A Bug's Life. It's so good.
Maybe A Bug's Life. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. But
Yeah.
I don't think it makes my top 5, but it gets close.
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
And I don't think that's like crazy to say. I think this movie is really funny. I think my favorite gag or something they briefly reference, I think this is also in the trailer, is when it's like, oh, this is like Avatar. It's nothing like Avatar. This is better than Avatar.
I can kind of see that.
And here's what
I
I'll
can kinda
explain.
see that.
Is I think at least the first one,
Story-wise.
and that's what I'm saying, is I think the first one, right, if we're comparing the first Avatar to this, I think this movie just has so much more heart than Avatar does.
Yes.
Like,
I'm gonna say it's still Avatar's still close, but this has more heart.
And here's why I say that. I think Avatar is so blatant on here's what the theme is, right?
Yeah.
Humans are destroying society and they're here to destroy nature here. This movie, I think, adds a lot of nuance to that that I think Avatar never really gets to, you know? Because Avatar, very much so, is about damaging the environment. You're damaging the environment. Humans are bad. We need to fight them.
Yeah.
Right. This movie kind of portrays that differently.
Oh, yeah.
Portrays it differently, where it's like, hey, like, look at the humans damaging the environment and taking these animals out of their homes, but also like, let's give you a glimpse of how these characters live on their own and how they feel like they need to do good and
Yeah.
whatever. And we'll talk about themes in a second. But that resonated with me because I like that this movie wanted to discuss nuance.
Yeah.
Because I think nuance is so important. I think it's easy to see things black and white, but once you start discussing that gray, that's when you get to more interesting conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this movie you can have very interesting conversations about because it wasn't afraid to really get into the nuance of it. So yeah, fantastic movie, dude. It's so good.
I was really thinking about that through the movie though. That's why I was kind of shook that I liked it as much, because the way they do the Avatar trope in this really was a little bit better than the first Avatar movie. Nothing really beats Avatar: The Way of Water for me. I'm sorry, that's on a higher level. But the way it goes into, because I think the beginning scene, and I feel like you already love it more than Avatar 1, so I think you already understand it. But the beginning scene does a really good job to me of getting to that point, because obviously we learn who Mabel is, what she loves, what she believes in, but then we also see that scene where it just talks about, like, she's super angry, she's super frustrated, and their grandmother brings her out and just says, shh, listen.
Yeah.
And it just goes quiet. You're listening to nature, you're looking at the animals in the area, and you're already knowing it's about to get super, like, emotional, you're going to get to know these characters, and you definitely get to know these animals. That was the one thing that got me even more excited when I'm watching this movie, because right when she gets into that beavatar body, when she finally gets to be around those other animals, and it kind of gave me the Wild Robot vibes, when she starts hearing them talk, and she starts hearing them talk about the certain things, she's trying to talk to them as well, going like, have you seen the beaver and everything? And then you get really personal with all these different, like, side animals. I'm gonna call them side animals. Only because with Avatar, I think the difference is with Neytiri, that's the one Avatar you really get to know. You really get to feel for. Compared to the other ones where it's like, oh, you're there, but I'm mainly rooting for Neytiri. I don't want her to die. But then when you watch this movie, you really don't want any animal to die because you love them all. And I feel like that's the thing that makes it a little better. You get to know all of these different characters more instead of just the nature of it.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think, I was going to say something too, and damn it, I hate when this happens to me. My brain. Let's get into spoilers, because I think it's probably going to come back to me in the next 5 seconds. Let's go favorite bits, favorite moments from the movie. Can I say mine?
Yep.
Pond rules. I think the entire concept of the beaver like he looks super, like his eyes are closed, a lot of it. And he gets like eaten, and then like Maple jumps over, like, hey, like let him out, whatever. And he drops, and he's like,
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, why'd you do that? It's how it works, you know, like I got Ian.
The biggest reaction.
And like, do you still want to do it? No, now it's weird. So good. I thought this movie was just so funny. I don't know, there's a lot of bits like that where I'm just like, dude, this movie's awesome. You brought it up earlier, the dam scene when they're all dancing on the thing. I like when they rebuild the dam and they're like, oh, we're gonna party. And they just start going to town. Awesome.
Bro, my favorite scene in the whole movie was definitely when they're meeting with the council. She squishes the
My theater
butterfly.
gasped, like audibly, and so did I.
Everyone did.
I went,
Bro, I was so shook because, I thought that character was going to be more, like, in the movie. And then right when that happened, all I heard was, and all of us, all the kids, everyone, I was dying. Everybody was laughing when I started laughing because I literally just went, no way. an animal just crushed another animal, and then everybody just started dying. And then my whole group, because I went for a huge group, they all heard me laughing and going crazy, and they all started laughing. But then even when like the reactions after, she was like, "Huh, huh."
Oh my gosh, the like rubbing it on the wall.
The little lick on the wall. I went, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna kill her." That was insane,
Dude,
I didn't expect that.
it was so random. It was so random. And here, can I tell you probably my favorite part about this movie? The way it subverts your expectations. I think this movie sets itself up for the mayor's the villain.
Yes.
This is who we hate. We don't like him. He's the one trying to build the highway so the animals can't live. He's putting the nasty noises so they can leave their homes.
What a jerk.
But what quickly happens is, hey, the mayor's actually not that bad of a guy. He's just doing good the best way that he can.
Yeah.
And I think that's a major theme of this movie. I mean, freaking King George says it, you know? I got his name right? I didn't say that wrong. I don't know why I second guessed myself. Yeah. He even says it, like, there's a great conversation between him and Mabel when they're walking.
Yeah.
And he talks about how his dad left him and, like, banished him from the kingdom or whatever. And Mabel's like, yeah, he sucks, right? And he goes, I don't know. I think he's good. Like, why are you saying that? Like, he sucks. He's the worst. And he goes, I don't know. I just think he was doing the best that he can. You know? She's like, I don't think that makes him good. And then he hits her with that, but wouldn't you like to believe that everyone can be good? Freaking magic. I was like, dude, that's conversation. Like, I don't know, that just hits so hard. And then to reflect that later on with the mayor, where this whole time you're like, this mayor sucks, he's the worst, he's building these highways, whatever. To see him like wake up in his super nice home, he's living luxurious, he's taking a cool shower, making the breakfast what you think is for himself and making it all look nice.
Yeah.
And then he sits down and it's to his old mom who he takes care of.
Yeah.
And then when he walks outside, you notice how small his house is, like actually, and he just lives with everyone else like it's normal. That's awesome. Like, that's so cool because you have this expectation that, oh, this character's the worst. He's evil. He probably lives on nice and rich and luxury. No. He just, like, chills at home, I guess, when he's not doing mayor things, you know?
Just doing the best that he can.
Exactly. And he is a little egotistical. He is a little power hungry, sure. But, like, he isn't a bad guy. And I think that's what I loved about this movie so much.
Yeah.
That, and then the line of the movie, we're all in this together. I think another very important idea where I think in today's age, where a lot of us are maybe different culturally, religiously, politically. There's so many differences between all of us. I think we can all hate each other because of those differences.
Yeah.
But really, like, if we're thinking about what we all have in common in that way, a way that everyone would agree on, it's that we all live here and that we're all in this together.
Yep.
You know? And that's what matters, right? That we're all here.
Yeah.
And that made me really happy that Pixar was willing to talk about both those subjects.
Exactly.
Because I think so many people are afraid of the nuance, afraid of the, no, this person's evil and this person's good. No. Unfortunately, that's just not how the word works. Even look at Mabel, right? Mabel is portrayed as this character who gets things done, is great, and is awesome, and she's fighting for the people, you know? She's fighting for the animals. But every time she tries to do good, she messes up and makes things worse.
Yeah.
Like, she's actively a good person, but she's doing bad. She's not making things any better, you know? That's cool to see that reflection of, especially with the mayor, the exact same way, where he's this bad guy portrayed here, but he's making the lives of all the people better, you know? Just a really interesting, like, difference between the two characters. I thought it was really awesome.
No, that was perfect because to be honest, I think one of the things that really impressed me was the whole like step into somebody's like shoes or like see how another person's like life is on that side. Like you have the Avatar thing where eventually, spoiler alert, the mayor turns into one.
Yeah.
He turns into a beaver in his own way with the hair and the tie. I thought that was funny. But he was already starting to get it, but when he really got in that body and really started to like interact with the animals and help them, he could see the differences. He could see what is the good in that. That's why that ending scene, I really loved it.
Yeah.
When he's like, all right, let's do our job. Everybody, let's fix this up. I really like that. And the fact that obviously, it's not going to be perfect when you're trying to, like, work together because they tried lifting that thing up and they're arguing. But the fact that they were able to meet each other there, lift it up, and, like, try to get it out of there, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like what you said. Like, we're all in this together because, I mean, it's Beaverton. It's our Beaverton. We all got to just make it better. And I like that. And I like how they were teaching kids on that. And I like how there was another thing that I really liked about it. It's mainly with Mabel. It was like her character, how she's I like how she learned that she pretty much was like causing all these problems.
Oh, yeah.
And the scene that I really liked that showed that big time was when King George finds out that she is human. I thought that was insane. I thought that reveal was really good. That was one thing that I will say was better than the way Avatar revealed it. Because everybody knew they were avatars. Like, everybody knew. But the way King George found out was nuts. Like, what was it? Was it a snake or what grabbed her?
So she gets grabbed, and her arm starts to rip off a little bit,
but who was
right?
it by?
I think it was by one of the humans when they're grabbing her, because remember, they get her in the basket, she bites through it, and then the mayor grabs her, and then she starts to rip a little bit. It doesn't matter really, but regardless, like, like that moment of like her getting sort of ripped off, getting transported back in, and and the beaver, like the robot beaver's just standing there, and he goes up to it, and he's like trying to grab it.
That was so hard to watch.
So hard to watch.
I literally forgot too that she was human.
Yeah.
I was like, I like her as a beaver, but then right when her mind gets transported back into her body, and then the King George is watching it happen, I went, oh, this is gonna suck. this is actually gonna suck. And then when he's trying to like wake up the little
Oh my
robotic beaver,
gosh.
I was like,
I'm so happy they didn't cut to like the perspective of like the animals when you can like they have the bigger eyes and you can like hear
Yeah.
them talk. I'm so happy there was just the little eyes and he looked super cute and he was just like and I'm like, dude, please
potato,
stop.
potato.
Yeah. So awesome. Just a phenomenal movie.
It just did a really good job of like I don't know. It just did my bad. It did a really good job of like talking about two different sides and where we can meet each other halfway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did a very good job on that.
And I mean, they even come to a compromise with the highway. I mean, the highway just gets rerouted. My favorite bit, two things with the highway that I thought were so funny. One, when the mayor's like gassing himself up about, so save you a whole 4 minutes. Really funny. I just like, that's so awesome. But did you also notice, I don't know if this was just in like the diorama they had, but the highway is just a circle. Like, what's the point of it? Like, actually.
I was trying to figure that out because I was like, okay, so does that mean there's going to be one? No, because then everybody would get clogged over here. So does that mean two? No.
It
So
literally
four?
doesn't make any sense in concept.
I was like, how are they getting down?
Don't know. It's so funny. I will say, we mentioned a little bit. Dave Franco did take me out of the movie a bit, only because of how distinctly it was Dave Franco.
It really was.
I was just like, dude, oh my! I was like, is that him? And then once I like realized, I couldn't stop hearing him just yelling. When I think of Dave Franco, I think of the scene in 21 Jump Street when he's like, I'm the guy like me in jail. It rhymes with grape. I always think of that scene. And hearing him was just a lot. But I loved the scene of him like cocooning, or I don't know what you call the process of a
Yeah, it's
butterfly.
cocooning.
Okay, cool, nice, nailed that. And him like going. I like how they made that scary originally,
Yes.
and then they made it more scary when he's like actually coming out of it, and they do like the like ritual with like all gathered around him and like getting ready for the king.
That was so creepy.
So creepy. It was so funny. It was so awesome. And then the whole bit with the what's it called? Him getting the suit and him being the mayor and just running around and being,
Greetings, humans.
yeah, I'm the mayor. And then like, he's just like saying things expecting a reaction, and they're like, yeah, we love you, mayor. So
It
good.
was so weird, but
So weird.
that's what made it so much better.
Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal movie. You know what sucks though is I do want this to, huh? You look like you want to say something. Say it.
Finish your thing real quick.
I was gonna say, I think maybe if I watch this movie enough, it could be like one of my favorite Pixar movies ever. Because, can I be honest with you? I don't love a lot of Pixar movies. I like a lot of them, but like I don't love a lot of them. Like Toy Story was never my thing. I love 3. I think they're all great. I love 3. And honestly, hot take, I really enjoy 4. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I think a lot of people that say it's a bad movie just think it shouldn't exist. But just because something shouldn't exist doesn't make it bad, okay? 4 is fine.
Yeah.
Cars, I never liked as a kid. I still think Cars, I think it's boring.
I think it's cool.
I think it's fine. I'm trying to think of other Pixar movies off the dome. Bugs Life I do like. Incredibles, you know me.
Oh,
I'm not,
shoot.
weirdly
Incredibles,
enough,
that's my
weirdly
5.
enough,
Or no,
that's probably
2,
your 5,
that's
yeah.
2, that's
I'm
2.
not a big Incredibles guy. I never have been. I've never even seen the second one. For me, it was always like, as a kid, I loved WALL-E. I love Coco, and I love Onward. Those are my 3. They perfectly encapsulate my 3 phases because of timeline when they came out. WALL-E's my movie as a kid. Coco was a movie I watched when I was like 12, 13. I was like, dude, what an incredible movie. And then I watched Onward when I was 15, 16. I'm just like, dude, this is awesome. I was going through a lot when I watched Onward too. It was just like a really important movie to me. So like that's like my Pixar timeline. I'm not a big Pixar guy historically. I would love to do a full rewatch of everything.
Yes.
And like we really get into like what we think about this and that. Cause like Monsters University, I love so much.
Oh
I think
my
that movie's so
gosh,
good.
Monsters, Inc. Okay, we have to do it now because
We should talk about this because maybe I'll
Oh.
flip. Because look, I'm not saying Pixar movies are bad at all. I think they're awesome, and I understand why they're so incredible. I just was like never obsessed with them. I've never been obsessed with them. They've never been like my personality or anything. I love a couple of them. WALL-E is one of my favorite movies of all time. Right? It's the greatest love story ever told, and I stand on that. Okay, but I wish this movie I could like come out of it and be like, yeah, like this is it, because I think it's doing so much that I love. I just wish I were like related to it. Like I wish it had a character where I was like, dude, I feel that, you know. But a lot of it I was just like, yeah.
I really do a lot of it. But real quick, I know we just got serious, but what did you think of the shark?
Oh my gosh.
Like, what did you think about the shark?
Here's actually something I didn't say. I don't think I talked about in like my initial like non-spoiler like review. I loved how absurd this movie was in terms of like the concept, and it felt like it just kept escalating. Where it's like, okay, you already got weird, but it is kind of like Avatar with the beaver turning human, whatever. Okay, cool. And then it's like, okay, now here's the mammal king, but now you have like a bunch of other kings for amphibians, insects, fish, and birds. Cool. Okay, yeah. All right, now let's get even weirder and let's have them all work together to try and do the squish. The squish.
The squish.
This
The
was
squish
just, oh my gosh. And yes, the shark scene was incredible. I thought it was so funny. I didn't really understand like what the whole like deal was with the way it was talking. I understand it's supposed to be like nice. It kind of had like, you know when it's about to bite the mayor
Yeah.
and she's like, you might feel a biting sensation.
Yeah.
Just be ready, and then it'll proceed with death.
Yeah.
Like, I can't describe what that sounds like to me in my head. To me, I want to say flight attendant, but that doesn't sound correct.
It seemed like the Jet 2 Holiday Woman.
Okay,
It really-
sure.
I thought it was the Jet 2
Yeah,
Holiday Woman.
exactly. So funny. It was such an awesome. This movie is probably one of the most absurd movies I've ever seen because it was just so weird. When was the last time Pixar? I guess maybe Turning Red. I hear. I've never seen it, but I know a lot of people say it's
Turning
really
Red
weird.
was crazy.
Like this
I
movie
liked it.
felt so weird, and but this time I guess people liked it because people didn't like Turning Red. I guess.
Yeah, they weren't bigger fans, but yeah, this movie, very absurd. That shark scene came out of nowhere. Like,
Nowhere.
me and the whole theater went, oh my gosh! Because I was thinking, okay, crocodile. Wait, that's bigger. A whale. A great white shark.
I like when the birds dive under too and they start slowly dropping.
When the music, suspenseful music came on, I went, nah, there's no way. I thought they were getting out the megalodon for a second. I was like, that would have been tough. That
Dude.
would have made this movie top 10. But I thought it was cool when the shark was in the air, swimming towards the car in the tunnel, and I was like, the birds are helping it swim.
It's insane.
Oh my gosh, these animals are nuts. It was just Animal Farm on crack. I just loved it.
I think the last scene, my last favorite scene was probably when they're like originally communicating with the mayor through the text-to-speech. So funny. When she's like, hey, we're your friends, hey, this, that, whatever. And then they all kind of go like, I want to say something. Beaver.
Potato, lizard.
So good. I thought that was awesome.
This was a really comedic movie, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Anything else you want to say?
Please go watch this in theaters, please.
Dude,
please,
honestly.
please. Like this is one movie that I like. Not just Sinners. Like you have to go see Sinners, but this is a movie I need everybody to go see in theaters 1,000% in any format you can. Like,
You know what's
this
kind of
was
awesome is you don't even have to say that. This movie's killing right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's killing.
Thank
I think it's the number one highest grossing original animated movie of all time. It just beat Coco. So it's like, or at least for a weekend, I think. I think it's
Oh,
like for
okay.
the weekend.
If it makes
Still,
$1 billion, I'm gonna be so happy.
that'd be awesome. So good for them. Good for Pixar getting a W. Good for Disney finally like letting Pixar just do the thing in theaters and not like have like I know they had Inside Out 2, whatever, but it's kind of nice to see Pixar on like that they're back. You know. Last thing I'll say, I hope they make more stuff that's original like this instead of relying on sequels. Because it's
Yes.
kind of crazy that that kind of feels like what Pixar is now is just the sequel team. They're doing Incredibles 2. Just got announced they're doing another Monsters Inc., which is cool. They're doing another Toy Story, obviously. I think that's next for them, right? That's this month. That's in July.
Toy Story 5.
Yeah, that's July or June. June. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
So,
Who cares? People watching don't make a lot of money, and then people will hate it, but they don't make a lot of money, so. Yeah. So like good for them. I want them to go back to doing stuff like this, doing stuff like
Yes.
Coco, doing stuff like Wall-E. I miss when they were the people that were like, let's do A Bug's Life, let's do Toy Story. Oh wait, now let's do Monsters Inc. Let's do Nemo. You know, like and they're moving around.
Finding Nemo.
And now they're like the sequel people, and that kind of sucks. There's so many good Pixar movies, so we'll do a rewatch. That'd be fun.